So you moved to America. You said that you were even gaming in Brazil. You're playing football. I'll call it football for the sake of this episode, but we're talking about soccer when we say it, guys. Okay. Tommy's European.
No, absolutely not.
European. He's South American. But when you moved here, you were like 7, right? Did you have any goals of like what you wanted to do when you're older? I'm assuming you played football when you came.
Yeah, I wanted to be a professional soccer player, football player. Whatever.
Okay, so you played when you came.
Yeah, I played up until I was 14. I was in high school, and I realized that the soccer team started 2 weeks before. I was like, dang, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play. And so I talked to the coach or whatever, and they said, just come to practice. We'll see how you do. Pull it to practice, and the coach said, okay, well, we start the practice by running 4 kilometers, like 4 laps around the field, so it's like 4 kilometers. Back then, I had never run a mile, like, without stopping.
Yeah.
You know, I'm used to sprints and stuff like that. And so that killed me. I was like, honestly, that demoralized me. I was a straight for, you know, like, back then I was a little, you know, and then it was funny. At the very end, like, when I got to the final stretch of, like, the run, it was, like, the last, I don't know, 30 yards or something. And I was, like, the second last one. I'm, like, completely out of breath, no gas in the tank. I see this kid behind me. You know, Zach something, I'm not gonna say his name. And like, he's like very unathletic, you know what I'm saying? And the kid, he's been there for like the last 2 weeks. He started sprinting like past me. And I was just like, no way, this kid, bro, I had nothing left in me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I see this kid who's a very like unathletic kid just like sprint past me. I'm like, dude, it demoralized me.
So you quit.
Know? I quit. After that, I went home. I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, I'm not playing this anymore. She's like, you have to play a sport. You have to play a sport. And so I was like, all right, well, I'll play a different sport. Picked up volleyball because you don't need to run like that, you know?
And then you played, I remember your early vlogs on volleyball court.
Yeah, and our team was nasty. Like, these kids were dedicated. It was cool. I wish I never gave up football, though. Like, football, like, I love it so much. To me, it's the most, it is the beautiful game. For me, it's the most, like, the greatest sport in the world by far. Watching the World Cup, how the countries unite.
It's crazy,
It's the greatest spectacle in sports, you know? Yeah, I love it so much. But either way, picked up volleyball, played that for 3 years, and all year round, our team was super dedicated. My junior year, went to the state finals, lost, but it was a very close game to a team that was way taller than us. I was like the tallest kid on my team. I was 6'3", and then the team that we were playing against had a kid that was 6'5", 6'8", and a 7-footer.
Wow.
And we took.
It's like me up there.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it. You know, I gave up.
Yeah. Well, it is what it led to where you are today in some way. But you definitely had hobbies like skating. Also, we all know that, right? Yep. Skating was it was a part of your life early on. To this day, it is. But
for sure.
How'd you get into skating? Did you do that in Brazil?
No, I thought skating was cool. I had like a little skateboard that was not like a real skateboard back in the day, but I didn't really skate like that. It wasn't until my neighbor, Cody at the time, WP Echo, who formed WP, who is, by the way, WP is still around to this day.
No way.
I found that out recently and I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Different owners and stuff, but like 3 of my hometown friends founded that.
That's crazy.
And Cody was like my best friend at the time. He was my neighbor and we used to skate. He used to skate, and I got into skating because of him. Love skateboarding, and to this day, it's like still like it's an art form, you know. It's really, skateboarding was a part of and still is a part of FaZe's DNA.
Yeah,
you know, the whole trick shots thing, like that all happened the way that it did. The Temperrr shot happened because I grew up skating for 3 years prior to playing Call of Duty.
Yeah,
and so I was used to these skate videos and these, you know, really dope videos made just with clips and different tricks and all that stuff. So
yeah, it's like it kind of transformed into trick shotting in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anybody who has seen skating videos, you could see the similarities.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Before we get into the gaming and joining FaZe, did you ever have any jobs before? What did you do?
So it wasn't I got paid under the table. Okay. It was my friend's mom's company. It was called Sweet Things Bakery, and it was like downtown Haverhill.
Yeah.
And I used to work the register there for a few months. It wasn't like a job I had for a minute. But yeah, that was my only real job. Yeah, I remember there was one time there was like some event where like people were day drinking in like downtown Haverhill, and these 2 drunk guys come in and they're like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Baklava," and he's like, "Waffle dough?" But yeah, that's the only job I had.
Oh man. Okay. Well, that's very interesting. And then you were, because I remember again. I've seen your whole. I feel like I've seen your whole life, right? I haven't. I've only seen from like high school on.
Same.
But I remember you being in high school, vlogging in high school. You know, I'm not trying to cut ahead, but I just want to ask about school before we get into FaZe. And you have a very you have a funny story I remember about you being in college and dropping out. But before we get there, did you like have a career path in mind before you got into FaZe?
No, I had no idea.
Okay.
That thought like scared the absolute out of me. You know, like just to think about what I wanted to do, because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was also a terrible student. Like if I didn't care about the subject, I was not paying attention.
Yeah,
you know? The ones that I did care about, I paid attention, but that didn't happen regularly.
So just to jump ahead, and then we'll go back. But can you tell the story about when you dropped out?
Yeah. So after high school, I took a year off to kind of just figure out what I wanted to do, and this is when FaZe was like second year to third year of FaZe. This is right before Black Ops 2 dropped, I think. And I just wanted to figure, I had an apartment at the time. There was no career path, right? Like FaZe wasn't something when we started that was monetarily possible.
Yeah.
Right. And so you weren't able to make any money doing what we did. So I had no idea how long this was going to last. My roommate at the time, Will, who, I remember when he first told me about taxes, he's like, yo, are you paying taxes? And I'm like, no, like, why would I? And he's like, how much do you make? How much are you making right now? And it was like over 10,000 a year or something. He's like, dude, you got to pay taxes. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. He convinced me later on, like, that I should go to community, like go to college, right?
Yeah.
And still do that stuff. So I went to this community college for business. I went for almost a full semester. And I remember I was taking a test in the math class over here. So a lot of stuff was going on with FaZe, right?
Yeah.
And I'm over here, and there was something going on in my personal life too, like, and I'm over here trying to focus on this math test that, like, I just don't see anything. How is this helping my life at all? I'm going to school for business when it's teaching me traditional forms of business, which really doesn't help me with FaZe at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I'm over here trying to solve some like dumb math problem, right? And so I was over it. And so I got up, I started walking out, and the teacher was like, where are you going? And I said, I'm going home. I just walked out. And that was it. That was the last time I stepped
It's like a movie scene.
Bro,
that's like literally, if we ever do a movie, that scene's got to be in there.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
going home. It just sounds so dramatic. Like a tight shot on your face, and you just say, I'm going home.
Yeah.
That's so funny to me. And you never went back.
Never went back, bro.